Jason Howden. He's been closely involved in the fight to save BAE jobs. He's on the line now. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's great that they're going down. I'm sure it's a high-profile protest and so forth. Do you think realistically, though, given that the shareholders are looking at the bottom line here, that this will achieve anything today?
Well, I think, yes. I mean, what's been interesting throughout this whole process is, right from the beginning, it's been a difficult uphill task. The company has got not enough orders to fill all its factories. And we knew when we started, Alan Johnson and I knew when we started we had a battle on our hands. But we've already achieved quite a lot in terms of changes in the company's position, more jobs saved at Brough, delayed the redundancies. Initially we thought they would have happened already. And we've got the company to actually size up to its responsibility in terms of finding other jobs, something, frankly, in the beginning it didn't do at all. So it's been a tough battle, but it's been fascinating that the courage and determination of the workforce at Brough have actually driven the company to take its responsibilities more seriously. And I think the shareholders obviously want a return on their shares, they want a return on their savings, but they also want their company to behave responsibly. I'm a believer in capitalism, but I'm a believer that big rewards justify or demand big responsibilities. And what we'll be saying to shareholders this morning is your company hasn't met its responsibilities. It's got large amounts of cash. It doesn't spend enough on research and development. It hasn't historically. It abandoned civil aviation when it shouldn't have done. And now it's in this position, and the people are paying the price of the workforce, and we want your company to take its responsibilities seriously. I think that's a very strong argument to put to shareholders.
I was reading your article in The Times yesterday. You mentioned some of those points in that article. You also talk about them buying back shares. You're very critical of that. Why is that?
Well, a company like BAE got a load of money. I mean, most of it's, one way or another, come from taxpayers. We're the ones who paid for the aircraft that the government bought. We're the ones who basically put the money up to create the seed corn and so on, of investment and research and so on. And when you got all that money, you should spend it on things that actually are in the national interest as well as your company's interests, are in the workers' interest as well as your shareholders' interests. For example, more development and so on. I mean, BAE spends 3% of its sales on research, whereas the big company Bosch spends 8%, twice as much. Most big companies spend much more than BAE, and BAE is our biggest engineering company, which is astonishing. And what they're doing instead is using this money to buy back shares. Why do I criticise that? Because that's a very quick way of improving their own bonus arrangements. It improves the earnings per share with no imagination, no improvement in the economy generally. And I think that's a perverse way for a big company, one of our biggest companies like BAE, to behave.
Thank you for your time this morning. David Davis, the Conservative MP for Halton Price.